Hello, Renee Flamand. You guys, it's time to talk about the flying monkeys. I know it stings when someone in your camp doesn't about face and follows along to where your narcissist goes, listens to them. And let me just break down how it can happen too. You feel a chill, right? You notice that these people seem to be avoiding you. Suddenly you're not getting invited to something. Your phone stops ringing. People stop talking as you approach them. You're being talked about behind your back, and you are the victim of a narcissist's smear campaign. And again, I'll say this till the cows come home, is that whether or not the person has the disorder, no, that's a mean thing to do. I talked about that in the last video when I talked about the smear campaign. It's a mean act to start with that they're talking about you. When somebody in your camp listens and entertains it, it is a very deep betrayal. And I've spoken to many of you, and this has happened with family members. It's a very deep betrayal. If something that you thought was solid, a relationship you thought was solid, and suddenly they do that about face and they follow the narcissist. The last video goes with this one. I suggest you watch it because we talk a lot about the motivations behind someone that might have, or maybe they're not even motivated. Maybe they might be motivated to help you. They're not motivated to talk behind their back. And the narcissist comes at them in an angle like that. Well, I know you love her as much as I do. Can we? Well, I don't know. She said you did this. Well, you know how she can be. It can all start very innocently. And before you know it, they're bending the ear of a friend of yours. And they turn around and they choose them over you. What to do about those people? I've tried everything. As you may surmise, I'm one to want to talk it out. So in the past, when I've been hurt in some capacity in this regard, because I've had peripheral narcissists, I've had this happen to me, I've tried to approach the person that was approached by the narcissist. And it's not a good feeling to have to come at a friend and say, this is what I understand happened, and I'm feeling that the way that you're treating me is because of that. And when then you get told, oh, stop, I don't want to talk about the drama, when something real to you happened here. Something very real happened to you. And I have relationships with people that were never the same. It can do a lot of damage if somebody leaves your camp behind the narcissist. I want to make sure that none of us are being flying monkeys to somebody else. Unbeknownst to you, again, you might be not realizing it. Or you might not recognize that person as a narcissist. And now they're coming at you trying to downplay your friend, your family member, It is a very, very hard thing to get over. I have had friendships reignited where somebody maybe was swayed a certain way and then they saw the truth of the person that was spreading the rumor or saying the mean thing about me. I think that when you hold your own and you sit with your head held high and you don't engage in like behavior, I wasn't waving my hand saying, let me tell you my side. Nope. It's too late. It's too late. If they ask, sure, I have a side. But in my opinion, the person that did an about face, if they do come back to you, if they never ask you your side, I'm not convinced then that they still don't believe what the narcissist said. So in that regard, I would say we need to talk this all out before we go any further. But as they're on their way out the door, it's very hard. I know it is. But I've learned that you can tell a good friend or a good family member, a loyal person, business partner, friend, family, doesn't matter. You can tell if someone's loyal to you. You can. And there are people who will say to your narcissist, you know what, that's not proper. But the way to handle the ones that don't is it's going to be hard to hear, but let it go, let them go. And hope that they see the light. Now, if you want to say your piece once before they go, I do not blame you one bit. I could never keep quiet, and whenever presented in that situation again, you bet your sweet Bippy, I'll do the same thing. I'll say my story one time. And if they don't turn it right back around, oh, I had no idea that he said that. Right back around, I'm talking. If that doesn't happen, I'm suspect of that person, of their motivations to turn their back on me. So even though it's hard to think, well, what do you mean we're not going to be close anymore? We've been close forever. I'm not going to let this person come in between us. Okay, that sounds great. But you have to look at the kind of character this person that turned their back on you has. Or why did they? Or for how long did they? And did they come to their senses and come to you hat in hand? If they have flown the coop, to stick with the flying thing, if they've revealed themselves to be a flying monkey, which I've told you before, did I already say it in this video? Wizard of Oz, that's where this comes from, those creepy creatures that follow the witch. I asked, did I say it already? Because I've had one video stop while I was taping it. Not, was it this one? No. I've had to do one twice because iPhone storage full. So I went and deleted hundreds of videos that don't need to be on my iPhone. Anyway, that's why I asked if I had already said it. But they come from that, those creepy monkeys. That's my favorite movie of all time. I can't stand those monkeys. Who does? They follow. And that's why they're called that. They're meant to conjure up that seedy image. It's not nice because it's participating in the victim of gossiping, which is bullying. It's taking down someone's character behind their back. It's listening to the words of a person that they probably met after they knew you. Or if it's family on family, you're all family, or friend on friend, you're all friends. So somebody's picking a loyalty over you. It hurts. And the first thing you can do is you have to release that. Make peace with it. Release them. And hope that they see the light. And you can't assess something of someone's character if they do fall victim to the narcissist and go their way. I had to face an ugly truth about some people that I knew when that happened to me. I didn't like the thought that that was happening. And I was giving every chance for explanation or apology or making their way back to me. I gave a lot of chances. I think that some people go away and never come back because they're embarrassed if they do see the truth about the person. I think they're embarrassed to admit that they were duped. But I caution you to think of this too. You were duped. I was duped. We were all duped with the love bombing phase of the narcissist. Well, they do that to your people the whole time. So they call upon that entrapment for these times when they want to gossip about you so that they don't take responsibility for anything that went wrong. Not the argument, not the fight, not the breakup, not the business deal, whatever capacity. They're not taking blame. And they'll do anything and say anything and lie and deceive even those closest to you, especially those closest to you. It gives them credibility. If they can snag someone real close to you, gives them credibility. They'll say things like, well, you must have seen it. You're with her all the time. They'll go at it that angle. They'll pick something, a little bit about your personality. They'll mention that. They'll get agreement. They'll gain entrance. But if the person really does keep their back to you and goes in that direction and doesn't see the light, it's time to release that person. Because they're not good for you. They weren't good to have. You had some fun? Okay. Some people come in and out of your life for a reason. But if they do that and that persists and they go down that path with the narcissist against you, that says a lot about their character. They didn't stand up for you. So the best way that you can, and if you can't ignore that person, say it's family upon family upon family or good friend, they're always going to be in your life, you can certainly gray rock them. You can change the dynamic of the relationship. You don't have to keep going to brunch every Sunday if someone is doing this behind your back and you know it. A lot of people do that. I see it. To keep peace in a group full of friends. I don't do groups full of friends. I don't have that. I have different great friends, but they're all over the place. I don't have one posse. And I've seen problems. One person talking about another person joins in, and very seldom that's part of what motivated this topic to be what it is, but no, hardly anybody just stands up and says, you guys, that's not nice. And I'm listening. I'm a friend of a friend, but they're supposed to be a posse, and I'm listening, and I can't believe. So I'm thinking, are they in a fight with that person? Are they jealous of that person? Are they talking about this person? Are they trying to devalue them? Are they a narcissist? My mind eventually goes there, but it doesn't go there right away. It goes to right away is that they're a rotten person for talking about somebody behind their back. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And when they do it to people in your camp to sway them over to your side, it is an extra dose of cruelty. It's a power play. They're beating you at chess. I know what I'll do. I'll call her blah, 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 cousin, brother, father, friend, whatever. If it's in work, the flying monkey might be someone in work. So you think you're close with this coworker, some other narcissist in the workplace is stepping over you to get what they want. So they're going to talk about you to this person, and boom, that little flying monkey's going to follow them right out the door. That can be in the workplace. It can make for a very uncomfortable working environment. I think one of you had that. I think we talked about that. This is last year. And that can be extremely uncomfortable because now you're battling up the reputation they give credence to each other. When the flying monkey follows the narcissist, it's like gives credence to what they said. Oh, they believe me too. They must have seen it too. It is particularly evil. I can't stand it. And the only thing I can ask is if every single person that ever saw this or heard it or whatever stood up and said something for the person being talked about, it might do a lot of good. I don't like somebody who follows somebody who talks bad about them behind their back. I don't think it's proper. Say it in front of me. Have the person come over. Maybe if the person that was approached said that, no, let's get them over here. That would be a great thing. That person's not a flying monkey. They're not susceptible to become one. They have more strength, more conviction. Some people are wayward and they sway. And they're not true. And that stings. You have to look at that truth in the face and accept it and think, this friendship, this familyship, this business partnership might not be what I thought it was. If they can be swayed away from you that easily. And the narcissist can steal your ex-girlfriend and make them their new girlfriend. That happens all the time. That's about triangulation. Let's throw that in for good measure. Make her jealous while I'm smearing her, while I'm capturing her best friend as a flying monkey, who's now my girlfriend. They do all that for power play. All of it. There are people out there, I hear this, when the new supply is a friend of yours or an ex-girlfriend or whatever, they grab, as their new girlfriend, they grab a girlfriend of yours. I hear a lot of people say this. He was cheating on me with my best friend. And now they're boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, or whatever. That's a power play. I don't care how far they take it. If they took it all the way to marriage and kids. If they're a person with narcissistic personality disorder, it starts out as, it comes from a sinister place. It probably came from, they talked about you together behind your back. They ended up cheating. And then they told you about it. That's triangulation. They gaslighted you, made you think it wasn't happening. And then boom, you land on this flying monkey made their way into their life. It can get very serious and it can hurt. God, it really stings. Sometimes more than the breakup with the narcissist. You just maybe knew them 2 years. You have a friend that you've known for 20 years who goes the way, that rips your heart out. That rips your heart out. But I just implore upon you to try to know when it's coming and don't do your part to fuel it. As far as how to handle the flying monkeys, you hold your chin up and don't engage. Say your piece. You have a right to say your piece and defend yourself, absolutely, but not in a big, ugly, messy fight. Not in writing with an email that they can forward to anybody and everybody. You say your piece. You say it. You want to do that? Fine. You meet your friend for lunch one time. You say, this is what I understand is going on. Or your family member, whatever it is. This is what's going on. Well, you know that you get to the bottom of it. You see where they stand. If it's not in line with what you know you're worth, then you part ways and say, you know what? I wish you well. I hope you don't fall victim to this person the same way that I did. If you ever see the light, maybe give me a ring. I don't know if that's the most beneficial, but it certainly does keep your chin up and you're not engaging in this ugly, ugly, ugly warfare. It's a terrible thing to do, and it's really the bottom of the pit. The person spreading the lies and the person that turns their back on you. And the most you can do is elevate yourself out of it. They deserve each other. At that point, that's what you say. And you're too magnificent, and you don't want to hang around with that kind of person anymore. Neither him nor the person that went about face, or her, whatever pronoun, in whatever capacity this is. You make the decision of who you want in your company. I don't want someone in my company anymore who I think would do an about face. I have people around me I'd like to think that I have chosen and collected finally at 55 years old, people that might say, you know what, don't say that about her. That's not right. I'm not saying somebody has to get into a fight for you, but for the love of God, they can't commiserate behind your back with the other person. That's heading in the direction of flying monkey. They go off with that person, and you've probably had friends steal from you, other friends, poaching. That could all be part of this disorder, and it could have been a flying monkey smear campaign situation. It can get very serious. Keep your eyes open for it. I wanted to mention that so you can protect yourself, and you can also look out for when it's happening so you don't partake and add to somebody else's nightmare. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.